Live from Los Angeles, here's Everyway Woman.
Welcome to Everyway Woman. I'm Holly, and this is Open Dialogue. Today we're going to talk about drug testing for welfare recipients. Natasha, how do you feel about that?
Well, I have to get drug tested to keep my job that they take taxes out of to give welfare recipients who get to sit home. So yes, they should definitely be drug tested.
I totally disagree with you. Because we're not talking about a job, we're talking about people who get public benefits. And I think it's discrimination against the poor that you're talking about if you're going to drug test them and you're not going to drug test people who use public facilities like libraries or get FEMA aid or get school loans or even are on the freeway.
To have a job.
But that's a job and that's not the same thing.
Right, and I agree, because I think when when you're going to say, oh, we're just going to drug test you, it's a class discrimination against a particular class.
And it is a violation
of
the Fourth Amendment.
Now, if I was going to be a bus driver and driving kids, I would want that person to be drug tested.
But why should I have to pay out of my money that I work for and get drug tested so you can sit home on welfare with my money?
Are you advocating that everybody be drug tested? Because anybody who uses taxpayer dollars, what about people who get Social Security or get Medicare?
So Social Security is their money that they put into it. That's different as opposed to people who are on welfare.
I think either you're going to do it across the board for everybody,
exactly,
or Social Security, you put your own money into Social Security from working.
I think where it's a little bit different is because it's free money to people. They very well may need it, and it's they're using it for legitimate purposes.
And a lot of people now are on welfare because of the crisis that's happening in the United States.
Yes,
so there's
a
group of people.
Not everybody who's on welfare is on drugs, but there's a small percentage of people who continue to use drugs, and that's why they're on welfare.
And it's protecting the children that maybe that if the parents are partying with the welfare money, it's not getting to the kids.
The Supreme Court has actually ruled on this, and it's actually a violation of the Fourth Amendment, according to the Supreme Court.
I don't know that many people on welfare who party. Because they don't really have
that's why a lot of people stay on welfare forever because some of them are on drugs.
Well, then why don't you do this? If you're going to drug test the poor, then tell them, hey, well, if you're going to be on welfare, you can only have one child.
I'm poor and I get drug tested.
But I'm
maybe
saying
you should only have one kid if you're poor.
If you're going to dictate how someone should live, and I agree, some people do drugs, and I don't agree with it, but then tell them they can't have kids, or tell them they can't have two kids. Or tell them they can't have a beer.
That is another thing.
We're not talking about
why should they have chocolate cake? You want to dictate their entire life.
But guys, I don't think we're talking about
taking our money,
judging people. We're talking about people who are getting money from the government to be used as for a certain purpose, and it's to ensure that that money is going to where it should be, not making any judgments.
But why are you saying this is different than getting FEMA aid or getting grants from the government?
No, I meant for drug testing and other.
Yeah, but it's free money.
But if there's a disaster, that's one thing, as opposed to you're sitting home on
it's
welfare.
Temporary. FEMA's temporary, and you have to show receipts.
Believe me, with FEMA, you got to account for everything. It's probably a very small percentage of people.
Okay, so maybe they should do it like other organizations, like with FEMA, where you have to turn in your receipts when they give you this money. If maybe they should have welfare recipients do the same thing.
I don't think that the problem is that there should be drug testing. I think the idea with welfare is that it's a little too loose, because there are people who receive welfare, but then they get a job, and then they make less money getting a job than they do when they're on welfare or assisted living. Right. So that's more of an issue than whether or not someone smokes pot.
Closing
or
the loopholes is very important.
Well, there's a lot of ways with that. Yeah.
There's more into that than I think there is about the drug testing.
I'm sorry, because you should be drug tested if you're going to get my money. Because I had to be drug tested to make the money for you to take it.
But it costs money in order to make those drug tests.
It doesn't cost that much money.
So if you're going to spend the money in that direction,
per person, I believe it costs.
Why not close the hole? Why not close the gap on some of the other issues where money's leaking out of welfare, as opposed to something like that?
We're just talking about people getting drug tested on
but
welfare.
If they're spending the money on that, there's other ways to spend it, I think, that are more effective.
And I think the states are wasting their time doing this, because I don't think it's going to pass the muster with the Supreme Court, as it hasn't in the past.
And
our state's spending time on it, too.
And I think that's what the process is all about. It's to be voted on and
right. And not every job gets. People don't get drug tested for every job. You happen to be
a lot of jobs,
but you happen to be in a job that it's important. That we want to know that if you're doing that job, we don't want you to be high.
Well, what you're saying is not all jobs are safety issues.
Right, not all jobs are safety issues.
So, okay, well, another topic I wanted to talk about is big stores like Walmart. We found out recently that in our local area, Walmart is coming in, and how do you guys feel about that?
Well, I think it's difficult. I mean, there have been a lot of communities. I think there are about 86 communities across the country who have said no to Walmart. And we do have a job crisis. We have unemployment at 12% in California, and I believe about 10% in the country.
So just,
and
but
for
basically, do you think it's a good idea or
not really.
No?
Yeah.
But for every Walmart job, you lose 1.5 jobs
Madison,
in the
how do you
community.
feel?
I agree. I think that I'm a proponent. I like small businesses.
So,
I do.
and
I support
Natasha?
small businesses.
I think in Burbank there are a lot of jobs, so it doesn't necessarily matter. But I am mad about in Inglewood there needed to be a Walmart.
Well, I think, I
and
think
there wasn't. So there's some communities where yes,
So
we do need
it varies, so it doesn't.
And a job is
right,
a job.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
great discussion, ladies. I wish we could go on and on about it because it's a lot to talk about. But stay with us, and we'll be right back with the Week in Review.